CES coverage sponsored by Audible.com, where books come alive. Listen to a bestseller on your iPod or MP3. Get a free trial at audiblepodcast.com/CES.
CES coverage sponsored by GoDaddy.com, the leader in domain names and web hosting services. New GoDaddy customers save 25% by using promo code CES25 at GoDaddy.com.
CES coverage sponsored by Lexar Las Vegas. Get to the point. Rooms start at $40. See TPN.TV for Lexar advertisement, which is the gateway to savings.
We've got Doug with Ford, and Doug, I spent some time out at the plant in Dearborn earlier this year for one of your drive events. I had a great time. Of course, been working a little bit with your PR team, and been hearing a lot of the news. So some stuff we can't even talk about yet today because there's some announcements coming later. But what is your position? What do you do with Ford? And
I'm the Director of Connected Services, the Global Director, so I'm responsible for all content, data, and services we pipe in from outside of the vehicle, including connections to mobile apps.
Right.
Great.
So you had some announcements already. Can we talk about those a little bit, about what you guys have announced?
Yeah, absolutely. We announced that we're going to come up with an AppLink product. We named it AppLink last year at CES, and it was actually released on our Fiesta in December as a USB download from Sync My Ride. And it's now available on Mustang. That's launching here in January.
Right.
And fundamentally what it does is it takes the UI from your smartphone and extends it into the vehicle so that you can access any smartphone application through the voice controls in the car, the steering wheel buttons, and the touch screens.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. And I think, we've seen today, and I saw last night at Digital Experience, a lot of companies are playing catch up. And you guys are obviously the leader when it comes to being digitally connected in your vehicle, and I know that you continue to lead the path in that realm. Where do you see Sync and the rest of the products going, over the next couple of years within the Ford product line?
Well, what we've done is we've tried to emulate or complement people's digital lifestyles, right? And the pace at which technology and cool apps is unfolding on the phone and the internet and out to the cloud. We're trying to be like the great UI. Think of us as the iPad of those services.
Right.
A lot of even some of the announcements I've seen at CES over the last couple of days from some of our competitors, they're taking a more integral role in integrating the apps, updating them, and frankly, we have a very light API that I think is very easy to integrate. I mean, some of the companies we gave it to had up and running beta code in about 5 days. And I think our approach is still strategically different than anybody else, and we have a whole slew of apps that we're ready to announce, but we've learned a little bit from some of our partners like Google and Android and Microsoft that says that we don't announce things until it's actually on the market.
Right.
You've seen a lot of the announcements about people going to have something next year, and you're right. A lot of people have kind of imitated us, and that's a form of flattery, but we believe we have a better architecture and we're still out in front.
I think it was very evident because I touched a simulated dashboard of a product, and they didn't let me play with it too much. Whereas whenever I've seen any of your products, I think you're exactly right. It's ready for market, and it's well integrated, and safety is of course a big concern for you guys, and you guys go through that rigorous testing to make sure that there's not going to be a safety issue when you're driving as well.
And we have a lot of controls, and we do some things that other people don't do. You'll see some people that want you to enter a destination or an address for your nav system, by typing while you're driving. Come on, that's just as bad as texting while you're driving, right? And so what we do is rely a lot on voice and a lot of intelligence on the back end. Our partner on our traffic directions and information system, which is really a nav system, is Tellme. It's a property of Microsoft, and they do all of the voice systems for AT&T and Verizon landlines. So they have this huge database and a bank of servers and all kinds of processing power, and that's what we rely on. We don't want people typing while they're in the car.
Right. One of the things I was impressed by, and it's a product I think that's coming out in this year's models, was, or maybe not, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but just basically lane drifting. So you look over to you start to lane drift, and basically start getting thumped or something. You'll notice the car will tell you, hey, you're lane drifting, and that's a product that I find, and I don't know if it's actually in the models now or if it's coming in the future, but I think that feature alone from a safety perspective, and because no matter what you tell people, don't text, don't do stuff, they're still going to look down at the radio and do something maybe they shouldn't and take their eyes off the road. And if you're warned that you're drifting one way or the other into a different lane, then you get your head back on the road. And I found in the test that they did, they had me actually look down, and as we started to drift, and it just brought me right back, and before it would get into a critical situation would cause an accident. So those kinds of technologies into vehicles it really, really excites me. It really does.
It's available today. It's called lane change departure warning. And I've tried it, and I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, there's times when I'm drifting or the weather's bad or it warns me there's a vehicle next to me. You know, and it's a nice flash in the rear view mirror, and it's incredibly safe. And that combined with information technology. So, for instance, you know, road conditions changing or dangerous intersections is another one. I mean, we have this information, or speed alerts, right? Speed traffic alerts or speed cameras are all information that's going to be out and available in the cloud, right, that other companies are going to aggregate and deliver through a variety of mobile platforms and through a variety of delivery mechanisms, and we're just there again as the UI to collect it in a safe manner. For
this is exactly what we need where I live. I live in Denver, and I drive a lot up to Wyoming, and there's a lot of wind. You drive basically like this, and there's a lot of lane drifters. Plus, you have really bad weather. They actually have signs like if you go beyond this point, you're on your own for the next 60 miles. So I mean, this is where you can get all the information. But I'm curious. You mentioned speed cameras.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
So we have through our traffic directions and information services product, right? We aggregate a lot of data out in the cloud, and we added stocks, horoscopes, travel services just last spring, and it was available to all of our customers that had TDI. We had no changes to the car. So similarly, you know, we can add things like traffic cameras, lane change warnings, dangerous intersections. Whenever it's available out in the cloud, then we pipe it into the vehicle. And as long as we have a safe way to make that alert through our AppLink API, right? We can send notifications and alerts, and you can sign up for them or you can ignore them if you want. And downstream, you can see people doing that with coupons, you know, or discounts or hotel availability. And, you know, we'll make sure that it's a pull system. It's demand from the customer, you know, out, and they say, hey, I'd like to know if you've got any coupons because I'm taking my, 4 kids to McDonald's and I'd like to save $10, or they could ignore it. And so, we're platform agnostic. Our AppLink product works with BlackBerries, Androids, any platform that's out there, and of course iPhone.
Sure.
And it can be deployed around the world. So if you've got a better traffic aggregator or a better navigation system out there for China, then we can interface with it seamlessly.
One thing 4 years ago, 6 years ago when we started doing new media, my dream was always that I could take whatever device I had, let's say I was listening to something in the house and I was leaving, going somewhere, and I would take off where I left off, and basically I could transfer the media as I go. And for me, I don't need to listen to traditional AM or FM radio anymore. I listen to a lot of new media content. So for me, the ability to be able to have that in the dashboard and have that with me wherever I go is awesome, because I live in Honolulu. I spend a lot of time in traffic jams.
I wish I were you.
That's what we all say.
It's a little nicer than Detroit in terms of reputation.
It is. Yeah, I grew up in Michigan, so I don't miss the snow, believe me. And but we sit for hours in traffic. It's just a fact of life of living in Hawaii because of our traffic situation. So for us, sitting in traffic has to be, for me at least, has to be productivity time, and it may be listening to content or getting information. And I think the way everything is going with what Ford is doing is right on target. I'm excited to see what's some announcements I can't even tell you are coming tonight, or even I think tomorrow. There's some announcements too. There's some very big announcements.
Maybe I should hold off some of my questions.
So.
You can ask them. I just can't answer.
But we've got all the articles written at Geek News Central. Be ready to pop as soon as the embargo releases. Actually, I think someone has busted the embargo a little bit. But so what is Ford's focus then here at the show is just to get the vendors and stuff up to speed on what you guys are doing in technology and.
Well, in terms of partnerships, we've had every major partnership we've ever wanted. I mean, we were leading in this space, and we have regular meetings with all the leaders in the mobile space and the internet space. One of the cool things that differentiates our technology is we call it the democratization of technology. It's available on all of our vehicle lines from the bottom series to the top series. You see
important.
It on the Fiesta.
Right.
When you go around to some of our competitors, you say, well, this system's available, and it's available only with nav, only with the touch screen, and that's because they're not focusing on voice.
Right.
And it's only available with our applications package. We're adding our AppLink package to every vehicle we have, right, at no extra charge. It's absolutely free.
That's great.
That's because it's a light architecture, and that's for the young kids that are out there that want to listen to Pandora, they want to listen to whatever internet radio station they want. That'll drive them in. It has been driving them into Ford showrooms as opposed to the really high-end vehicles. I mean, if you go get some of the prices on some of our competitors for the stuff we're offering for free, it's thousands. It's $1,000 or $2,000. It's ridiculous.
Right.
And it's only available in maybe their very top-end line car. It's not an option even for a baseline vehicle.
Right.
And I think that's exciting. When I drove the Fiesta, obviously the Fiesta is probably, I'm not the age demographic for the Fiesta, but it's a fun car to drive. And, I've got a daughter that's going to become driving age here in a couple of years. And I'm thinking that's probably, by that time there'll be a few used Fiestas available on the market. So I'll probably start her out with a used Fiesta.
How old is your daughter?
She's 14. So
I've got a 17-year-old.
Yep.
And she got the new Ford Edge with my Ford Touch.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Okay. Two things she just loves. She puts all of her pictures in the 8-inch screen. I mean, she just talks about it, and text messaging. She gets all these text messages, right, and she can just reply and say, I'm busy, call me later.
That's right.
She's like, Daddy, I love you. Gave me a big hug. It's great for kids.
And she can be safe while doing it, too.
Because you know that if you don't have that system,
that's right.
Some of those kids are going to pull their phone
they'll
out and they're going to feel
do it.
compelled to respond.
Yep.
But if you can, through the steering wheel button, say, I'm driving, I'll get back to you later, then they feel like they're not letting their friends down because you know how they are.
Yep.
If you don't respond in 2 seconds, you're a bum.
Because I know I'm seeing a lot of people texting in the car, and as I can see them texting, I back off.
You can see the head is like this. They always have that little cockeyed look.
Talk about needing lane change departure warning at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, they're into the wall.
Yeah.
So one of the questions I had is, you already answered part of it, is you have different packages or I don't know how you are packaging this. I mean, basically everything you need from the get-go is in every of your models. But can you expand a little bit more about how you market that or how you package that?
Sure. So AppLink is available now on every Sync-equipped vehicle going forward. And Sync last year was available on about 75% of our vehicles, right? And that's improving significantly. It's going to be up over 90% in the near future. So it's been so popular, we're driving it really everywhere. And so AppLink is a free application. When you get Sync is standard on 70% of our vehicles, and when it's not standard, it's priced at $295. But it's more standard than it's charged for, so you get this whole package for free in most cases, and in some cases you pay $295. It's a steal.
Right.
It's got hands-free cellular calling, voice control of MP3 player, traffic directions, information, and navigation free for 3 years, 911 assist free for the life of the vehicle, vehicle health report free for the life of the vehicle, and AppLink free for the life of the vehicle on most of our cars for absolutely no charge. We're using this to sell more Ford cars, not gouge the customer.
Yeah, okay, so I have a car that's not very old, but I didn't have, it's not top of the line. But I really miss, I want to be able to play my smartphone, the audio on it in the car. Mm-hmm. And I asked them, okay, yeah, we can add like a dock for your phone, but it's going to cost me $300. And that's nothing. I mean, you get everything in the Ford.
Oh, for aftermarket dock?
Right.
So those systems are good, but I'll tell you the difference, right? And this is actually where most of the work comes in for AppLink and Sync. It's the integration into the rest of the multimedia system, right? So that when a phone call comes in, the radio mutes, right? Or if you're getting a nav direction, a phone call comes in and you're listening to the radio. How do you arbitrate between all those? You want to create a good user experience. And that's when, those systems, well, you said it, there's an aftermarket system that's actually $5 more than the whole Sync suite that I just named for you. That's pretty good.
Well, I only get the dock. I only get the dock. I get no integration with the speakers. I mean, that's another $200.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, you're saying $300. I mean, you just get the whole package. I'm so jealous. I mean, I wish I could have a Ford.
Oh, we want you to have a Ford. I'll give you my card. We got some special deals for people that do radio interviews with us.
The vehicle I have is fully connected. I've got all the features. I got all the onboard stuff. when I get my wife's vehicle, it's an older model vehicle, and I don't have that stuff. I'm so accustomed to it now, to having the ability to have true hands-free and all that other things. So when she gets my vehicle, then it's the opposite effect. She gets able to have those features. So she's due for a vehicle upgrade, and it's obviously going to be a big selling factor for us from that. And that's, I know that's why you guys are drawing people into the showrooms.
We just reached over 3 million vehicles equipped with Sync. And the cool thing about our services is we like to call them ubiquitous, in that you can get these services while you're in the vehicle, while you're at home or work on your computer, or now through your mobile phone. So you can access Sync My Ride, or you can actually call the services and get traffic, or get traffic while you're at work. And so that's what people want. They want connectivity in all parts of their life. They don't want to pay for a service that just shows up in their car and nowhere else.
One of our listeners says, my wife loves her Ford Sync. I'm so jealous, but we're a year away, so for me to get a new car, it will be a car with Sync. So that's someone in our chat room.
Thank you. Can I say that? Thank you very much for considering Ford.
So, and then there's just some other comments. He says, I still drive an Excursion. I wish I could have Sync with it. So, it's just, here it is everyone in the chat room is saying the same thing as far as agreeing with the commentary. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend that has a Ford. He has the older version, doesn't have the latest version. So we go out and we go to breakfast, and he always has to show off. So he'll hit the button here, ding, your phone, and then he says dial and gives the name, and sure enough it sits off and dials. And he doesn't have it hooked to a nav system, but he sort of really loves it. He has a little USB in there, and he says play, and he has a playlist. It tells him somehow it just works.
Because he likes to rub it in, because I know what you drive.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, can I jump on the bandwagon?
So some great stuff from Ford, and I know that there's just more announcements coming, and we'll be talking about that probably tomorrow. I actually got to look at the embargo dates, but it's going to be some cool stuff.
Alan Mulally keynote Friday morning. Yep. Wonderful person to hear speak, and he'll be letting some more news out, so please attend that if you can.
Yeah.
And finally, where should our viewers go on the web if they want to find out more? Is it Ford.com?
SyncMyRide.com. There's actually a developer's website there, SyncMyRide.com/developers, for people that want to submit app development ideas.
How's that process work? Because I've got a team that develops apps for home devices. We've never really expanded into car devices. I know that there has to be a huge vetting process to make sure that the app is compatible with the experience. Mm-hmm. How do you work that with vendors that want to, or companies that want to get into the Sync system?
So 2 ways. People either contact me or any of the people on my team, or they submit ideas through the website that I just gave you. There's a way to submit ideas.
Right.
And then we go through and we talk to people, and we go through those ideas, and the ones that seem to have interest, we sit down and work out development with it. And then if they do, we actually have an API and an SDK, a developer's agreement that we send out to them. They can actually play around with the hardware and get going. So it's really just a broader Ford team that reviews the ideas.
That's great. Right. That's good. And it's because sometimes develop for Ford, and it sounds scary because it's such a big company, but it sounds like the process is pretty viable process.
Well, no, it's going to be in all the cars potentially too. I mean, it's a big market.
OpenBeak, who developed our Twitter application for BlackBerry that you'll see on the show floor. Their company has not very many people. It's a very small, very talented company.
Right.
But I'm talking, less than 10 people.
It's about the size of our company, same thing. Yeah.
So do you tweet in your car?
I read some tweets, and I've got a Twitter account, and a few people follow me. I think my wife and my kids. My wife really doesn't like to follow me. She thinks I'm boring. So.
Well, very cool. Well, Doug, thank you for spending so much time with us. We appreciate it. I know you got a busy schedule today.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure to be on. Thanks for having me.
And absolutely, our pleasure to have you on as well. And we hope you much success. And we're going to be watching what's going on with Ford and keeping our eye on what's coming next. And I'll be honest with you, it's kind of fun to kind of watch your competitors try to catch up because I think I just saw the other products. They are literally years behind.
Yep.
Well, it's also fun to be with a group of technology leaders that are U.S. based.
Right.
You see so many U.S. companies and leaders in the space, and it's really fun to have Ford leading in technology and being first versus the best in the world. So it's been a fun ride, and we plan to continue it.
And in my opinion, not taking any bailout money was good.
We're proud of that, too. We're very proud of that. So go out there and buy a Ford, and we'll all pay more U.S. taxes and solve this deficit problem, too.
That's right.
There you go.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
SyncMyRide.com.
And Ford.com, of course. And go to your local dealer. Tell them where you saw this if you decide to buy a Ford. And send that feedback to Ford.